95% of people will remain stuck unless they realize this simple truth, that you create your outer reality based on your inner reality. The only way for us to actually live the life of our highest destiny and life path is to heal our body, mind, and spirit. If we do not heal, then we will only perpetuate the cycles that we are stuck in. People won't be able to step into their dream lives because they haven't cleared out the energy available to activate the codes necessary to break through and not fall into old patterns. Without working through this energy, we will create from these distorted energy patterns. Healing these distortions activate the fire codes within our DNA and allow us to step through the door of new opportunities. The problem with this unhealed energy is that it creates lingering cords that steals our energy from the present moment, robbing us of the ability to create the future that will yield our greatest potential. It is true that some people may be able to find success even despite not having done all the healing work. And as a disclaimer, none of us are ever truly 100% healed, but it is important to understand that if we do not work through these distorted patterns, then eventually they will catch up with us. And you may see it in people that have been successful, but at some point in the future their business collapses, because at some point our outer reality is always going to reflect our inner reality. And if there is something seriously off inside of us, and we're able to push through that and still find success, but we continue to run from that aspect of ourselves, then we'll create a life that will eventually showcase these distorted energy patterns, whether it be through people in our lives, whether it be through the business that we have, or maybe we don't truly feel happy inside. There's something that just feels off, even if we feel like we've gotten where we want to be, at least on the outside. If we do not do the healing work within us, then we are going to fall into these perpetual cycles and repeat the same limiting patterns and behaviors over and over again. Everyone has different things that they need in order to help them heal. But it is up to you to understand what that is and to step into that, to become your fully embodied divine self. So I want to break this down into 3 different types of healing for the purpose of this video. We'll be talking about Chi-based energy healing, Chakra-based energy healing, and Meridian-based energy healing. While these 3 are all interconnected, and there's a lot of overlap in some of these healing techniques and healing modalities, I want to focus specifically on what it targets the most. Because energy flows through our body in a variation of ways, and there's different types of energy that's flowing in and out of our body at all times. Let's start with the Chi-based energy work. Chi-based energy work is directly working with the body's bioenergetic field, or as most people call it, the aura, which extends about 4 feet out from our bodies, generally speaking. Now you can expand this, and you also can contract this based off of your energy and how you want that to be perceived in the external world. When there's an illness in the body or an issue in the body, there's usually a distortion in the body's energy field. Healers are often able to perceive this within the aura. It'll could show up as like a gray distortion, or a dark, like a black distortion. Could be like spots all over the aura, like there's holes in it. An example of this is chronic pain can often appear to practitioners as a bluish gray, dense or mottled looking blob in the aura. And there's a variation of different energy distortions and even energetic beings that can affect our energy that we're not even able to perceive on a conscious level. But if we understand the way that this energy works, we will be able to navigate and to properly heal. Some examples of Qi-based energy work would be Qigong and Tai Chi, sealing your field or shielding, meditation, breathing exercises, subliminals, and entity removal. The next healing modality I want to cover is chakra-based energy healing. You can think of chakras as pools of energy in your body. There are 7 main pools of energy within the body, and even more chakras that extend beyond the body, which we will cover more later on. So whenever you're experiencing something within your life and you're feeling a blockage, an energetic blockage, usually the chakras are where that blockage will be at. Whenever we experience trauma and heaviness in our lives, that gets stored in our body. Within our body, these spiraling pools of energy, they can get clogged up because of these blockages that occur. And each chakra is associated with different emotions and different energies that will attract certain energies into those pools of energy. So if we do not clear these from our body, then we are going to inevitably store this within this chakra. And we're going to get blocked up. Our energy systems are going to get clogged, and we are going to become stagnant. I'm just going to touch on each chakra very quickly. The first one is the root chakra. It's related to finances, stability, shelter, grounding, and survival. The location is at the base of the spine and at the perineum. The glands associated are the adrenals. It is blocked by fear, and the element is of the earth. The next one is the sacral chakra. This is the second chakra. This is related to creativity, sexuality, and is the biggest storehouse of our emotions. The location is in the sacrum. The glands that it's most associated with are the gonads. It is blocked by guilt, and the element it is associated with is water. The next one is the solar plexus chakra. That's related to personal power, confidence, self-esteem. The location is within the solar plexus. The glands most associated with this are the pancreas and the adrenals. It is blocked by shame, and the element associated with it is fire. The next one is the heart chakra. It's related to love, compassion, and emotional healing. Location is within the chest. The glands are the thymus. It is blocked by grief, and the element is air. Next one is the throat chakra. This is related to communication, self-expression, and truth. Location is within the throat. It is blocked by lies, and the element associated with it is ether. Next one is the third eye chakra. It's related to intuition, spiritual awareness, and inner wisdom. The location is at the forehead. The glands are the pineal gland. It is blocked by illusion, and the element associated with it is light. And the last chakra within the body is the crown chakra. The crown chakra is related to spiritual connection and consciousness. Location is at the top of the head. The glands associated with it are the pituitary glands. It is blocked by earthly attachment. The element is consciousness. If any of you have seen the show Avatar, The Last Airbender, they do a very good job at explaining this, and it's explained in very simple terms. You can find this on YouTube. I wanted to put a clip of it here in this video, but I wasn't able to find the right clip. So I encourage you to check it out. I may put a link within the description as well so that you can find that. Some chakra-based types of healing work are Reiki, sound healing, shamanic drumming, and meditation. Lastly, I want to talk about the Meridian-based healing. These are the lines and channels that connect the internal organs within the body and various parts of the body. I like to think about it, if you're familiar with the ley lines that are contained within the earth. There are certain energetic points within the earth that have more power and energy associated with it based off of where it's at. And our bodies are in a similar way, because the earth is essentially a body of consciousness. And within this consciousness, just like our bodies, it has meridians, it has chakra points, and it has energy that makes it up. And in order for this energy to flow, the meridians act almost as like a highway for which the energy moves throughout the body. If the energy gets blocked, then you're forced to take another route. And as a result, it's going to cause energetic buildup within your body, which can eventually lead to chakra blockages within the body as well. And I wanted to mention this, but I'll go more into depth later in the video. Just by simply pressing or slapping on the points throughout the body, you can activate these meridian points. A blockage within the meridians are like unplugging two extension cords within the circuit. You're not going to have that access point to go through anymore, and you're going to have to take another route. You're going to have to use a different cord at a different outlet if you wish to actually run energy through it. The chi must find another way to reroute itself through other meridians, which will eventually lead to a buildup of energy on one side of the blockage and a deficiency of energy on the other. Healthy fascia serves as the conductor, the pathway for electric current in your body, which is essentially your energy. Some meridian-based healing energy methods are craniosacral therapy, acupuncture and acupressure, stretching and yoga, massage, EFT tapping, and reflexology. Hi, my name is Cody, and I help people to activate their divine consciousness fire codes that will ignite their heart ablaze and open the door to limitless possibilities. So I already touched on the various modalities. There's the three: the auric or energetic based energy, there's the chakra-based energy, and there is the meridian-based energy healing techniques and modalities that we are going to cover here. While they are all connected, they each serve their own purpose. They each have their own role to play within our body, within our, not only our physical body, but our energetic bodies as well. The first one that I want to touch on here is nervous system regulation, which nervous system regulation connects all of these, because what I've learned in the past few years is that the nervous system is probably the most important thing in order for you to get your body regulated, in order to actually do true healing work. I didn't realize how much of a role this plays. I mean, obviously your nervous system is connected to everything in your body, but to actually focus specifically on the nervous system and things that help the nervous system to relax. And understanding how it works and how to communicate with it within your body is key if you truly wish to heal. If we do not heal these distorted energy patterns within our body, within our spirit body, our physical body, our astral bodies, then we are not going to be able to fully step into the fullness of who we are, right? Because we're going to be living and creating a life from these distorted energy patterns. But the moment that you realize how important the nervous system truly is, you will understand why it's something that needs to be focused on. So the nervous system connects all of these modalities together, essentially. The first modality that I want to touch on is yoga, as well as stretching. Now, I know they are different, of course, but I combine them into two because yoga is essentially moving your body in a variation of ways that will help you to open up that energy so that you can properly heal. And it allows your nervous system to relax because you're able to move these energies through you. And I had this as a meridian, predominantly. Meridian and then a chakra, because it's primarily focusing on our physical bodies. So as we're moving through these various poses, we're able to tap into different levels of energy. We're able to tap into the reservoirs of our body that allow us to truly heal. I don't do a whole lot of yoga, to be completely honest with you, but I have experienced firsthand the power that yoga has if you truly dive into it and you allow it to open you up. I remember when I first started getting into this and I found a spiritual community. I was practicing yoga, not super regularly, but I would come every now and then. And I remember one of the sessions that I had, it was a huge breakthrough because I was able to take my breathing and actually push through tightness in my body. I was able to push through this with the power of my breath. And whenever I did that, I felt a huge release. It was like I broke through something that I wasn't able to before. And stretching can be done in a similar way. I like to stretch first thing in the morning because it gets your body loose, it gets your blood flowing, and it just gets you moving. It's an easy way to get your day started. By being able to push through these blockages in our body, it helps to clear out these stuck, stagnant energies lying dormant within us. So a couple things that stretching and yoga really helps with is it increases blood flow and it reduces lactic acid within our bodies. Now, I know a lot of ADHD people suffer with lactic acid because it gets built up in our bodies and it makes it difficult to really move through that energy. And it makes you not really want to do anything. It makes you want to procrastinate. It makes you want to avoid the things that you need to do. And when you start to move your body, you get that energy flowing. You start to feel better. You start to get your energy moving. And naturally, you're going to want to do more things because you have that blood flowing, right? So that's the first one. And like I said, that covers the meridian and the chakras predominantly. Next one is acupuncture and acupressure. Now this one is, of course, also going to work well with the chakras as well as your auric field. But acupuncture and acupressure is all about focusing on stimulating the meridians within the body. I like to think about meridians almost like a massive highway in which energy and electricity travels through your body. If you have a traffic jam at one part of the highway, what's going to happen? You're going to have to take a different path. You're going to have to take a shortcut. And that's going to cause energy to flow in a different way throughout your body, and it's not going to flow as effectively. It's not going to be able to truly get to all the points in the body that you need to release whatever stuck energy you might have. So physical pain is a result of stuck and stagnant energy that is lying dormant within our body. Not only within our body, but it actually expands out to our energetic bodies first. And whenever we have a distortion within our energetic field, it's going to trickle down into our physical bodies over time. Now, it normally takes time for this to happen, but eventually it's going to manifest in some way, in some form. And you might not even realize that there's an energetic disturbance. You might just think it's completely physical. Maybe you sprain your ankle, or you do something like you physically injure yourself. But that could even be a manifestation of a higher energetic blockage that's happening, which caused you to hurt yourself in the first place. So with acupuncture and acupressure, it releases the stored energy throughout the meridians. Now, this is something that you can do to help release this energy, is acupressure. And it's something that I do on a regular basis. I used to do it every single day, just naturally, because my body would have this like stiffness, this energy that like felt just stuck and stagnant. So I just go through, I take the back of my thumb knuckle like that, and I just press on these points, and I go up my body like that, and I go back down, and I just kind of like do that all over. And then you could just kind of even just hitting it will stimulate those parts of your body. So you could do that if that feels better. But what I like to do is I like to really press on it, because I could really feel that release. And honestly, whenever you do that, like I do that to my whole body. It takes maybe 5 minutes. I like to do it to the most intense points are probably the feet, the buttocks, and the shoulders. But the shoulders are a little harder to get. So whenever I do my butt, I like to sit on my knuckles. Like, you take your knuckles like this, and you just kind of sit on them. You sit down like that, and you can move it around to hit those points. It sounds a little weird, I know, but I swear to you, it works. Like, after doing this, it'll feel like your body just had an orgasm or something. It feels so good, like to feel that release in your whole body, and your feet especially. Like, I do this, I'd say I do this almost every single day. Is I take my knuckles, and especially your heel. Your heels hold so much energy. They're like the shock absorbers in your body. And I've stepped on like pieces of metal that get stuck in my heel that I don't even feel, because it's so freaking thick. It's like a thick wall of just skin, and it's like that because it's meant to absorb all of that energy so that you don't spread that throughout the rest of your body, right? So your heels really absorb all of that, especially considering that we walk with our feet. So we're constantly moving, we're constantly putting pressure on that part of our body. And as we walk, we're going to pick up energy that's going to channel throughout our body. And the heel really helps to absorb that energy so that the rest of your body doesn't. So that's acupuncture and acupressure. And again, that stimulates generally the meridian. Should specify the meridians are in blue, the chakras are in pink, and the aura is in purple. The next one I want to talk about is meditation. Meditation is very simple. It's something that everybody talks about, that everybody needs to do, that we all need to clear out that energy in our minds, and also to just relax and drop into our body, to drop into the present moment. And that's probably the biggest thing, is that your nervous system is so dysregulated because we're constantly going. And we're constantly in this sympathetic state, the sympathetic fight or flight state within our bodies constantly. Because we're always, it's like we're working, and then we're always just doing something. Life gets so busy, and we're constantly moving and doing things. And by doing that, we're not able to truly relax, to drop into our bodies, so that we're able to be present and to feel what is happening in the present moment and feel what is happening within our bodies. Also, through meditation, we're able to receive downloads from our higher self and from our spirit guides But if we don't have a clear channel within our body, mind, and spirit, then we're going to receive downloads that might not be from the highest vibrational energies. And you might even think they are. But discernment is key here, because there are a lot of energies around us at all times that we're not even aware of. So it's key for us to make sure that we ground ourselves down within our bodies first, so that we're able to truly navigate throughout this world. Through meditation, it touches more on the auric and the chakras. Next one I'm going to talk about is shielding and also domain expansion. Especially as an adult, I've gotten really into anime, and I've learned that anime has so much truth and so much just metaphors that make it really easy to understand certain principles. And one of the ones that I really like is in Jujutsu Kaisen. They have something called domain expansion. And basically what happens is whenever you get within this domain, it's almost like the rules change. It's like the energy shifts, and you can feel like you're in the domain of this being. And of course, I'm not going to go into details, but in the show, it's based on fighting. So within that domain, they have full control. With that being said, we are able to have that same effect on our reality, to expand our domain, not as prominently as in the show, but it expands out and can be felt. And once people get pulled into that, they begin to conform to the rules within that domain. They begin to shift and align to your frame. The point that I really wanted to make here is through this, we are able to push out whatever energies might be trying to come in that don't serve our highest good, and allow whatever is in our highest good through that heart space to come into our domain. So basically, it's best to think about it like this. Our inner world creates our outer world. So as you expand the domain inwardly, you're going to expand that outwardly. So the more that you heal, the more that you focus on yourself and connecting those dots within you, it's going to expand outside of yourself as well. So the next one I want to talk about is shielding around your auric field. And as you can see here, we have a shield. And I first came across this when I learned about the archangels, which honestly, I'm a little mixed on it. I've heard some things that there's a lot of debate and being able to tell which beings are actually here to help us, and there's also a lot of beings in disguise that we might connect with. But I really like this concept of connecting with Archangel Raphael's energy as the green and Archangel Michael as the blue. So basically how it works is we have the gold around, the gold around our physical body. That's like our personal aura. That is the aura that emanates. It's like our energy signature, if you will. It's not necessarily going to be this color, but I feel like that's how I perceive what mine would look like. Whatever energy that you feel is right for you. And outside of that is the blue. So basically the way this works is you have your personal shield, and then outside of that is the blue, and then outside of that is the green. So when you get energies sent in to attack you, or something to try to distort and throw you off your course, what it'll do is it enters into your shield. And because the blue is based off of protection, used to like cut cords and to protect yourself, so that's what the blue is for. The green is for healing. So whenever the energy goes in right here, it's going to go in past the healing, bounce off of the blue shield, and then come back out. And the whole way that it's going, and the whole time that it's going in, it's getting healed. And then once it gets sent out, it's still getting healed. So by the time it leaves, it's more healed than when it came into your field. And also, I want to point out that this is something I thought was interesting in drawing this, is like I accidentally marked, I don't know if you can see, there's a little dot there where there's a gap. Sorry. There's a little gap here in the shield. And I feel like that happens with us in real life as well, because we have these shields put up subconsciously and sometimes consciously. And whenever things come into our lives, it creates holes to enter through through those access points. Especially if we had it at the blue and at the gold, then it's going to penetrate into our body, and that's where we get attachments. That's where we get demons, and not even just demons, but ghosts that might be drawn to your energy, that's trying to leech off of your energy, because there's a lot of higher dimensional planes of existence happening simultaneously that we're not able to perceive. So some beings don't necessarily have bad intentions, but they don't really have good intentions, so they're just there to leech off of you. And if you have holes in your aura, and you have holes in your field, then you're going to allow a lot more of that energy in, and you're not going to be able to truly ground and to have that sense of balance. So that's shielding. And then with domain expansion, I just wanted to wrap that up, because it's kind of confusing. Basically, just like how the shield is like your personal field of awareness, if you will. So once you emanate that out, your aura generally is about 4 feet, extends out about 4 feet from the body, and you can expand that or contract that depending on how your energy is in that moment, and also your intention of what you want to do in that moment. So with domain expansion, you're basically creating an environment in which energy is not able to enter into, and you are the one that essentially, I don't want to use the word controls, but you are the one in control in that domain. So if something does enter into your space, then whatever it is that you have set up is going to create a chain reaction as a result. So I actually experienced this once when I was going hiking with my friend Tim. We were out in Red River Gorge, so we were camping overnight, and it got late, and I started feeling this energy. Like I felt like I was in the domain of beings. It felt like, honestly, it felt like little fairies. It was like that type of energy. But it was really interesting, because when I entered into that space, I could instantly feel it, and it was just like all around me. And Tim and I, we were going to go gather firewood, and we're just gathering up whatever we could find, and I go to head back to the base to drop off the firewood that I had gathered, while he went in the opposite direction and was going to gather more firewood and see what he could find. And as I've almost made it to the base camp, I look over and I see him walking, like he's like right there, right beside me. And I was just like, dude, I thought you were going the opposite way last time I saw you. And then it was just like he just appeared there. And he said he saw a light and he was going the opposite way. And the next thing he knows, he's like popped out there right where I'm at. So there was some like interesting portals and energy. There was some kind of domain in that space that we were in. I don't know what beings it was, but we were definitely in some kind of domain. So I find that very interesting. That's something to think about, because in this world where, even like your own room, for instance, this room, this you could consider my domain. So when you have your own space, your own room, it's like you create within that space a certain energy that you wish and you desire to have. Ideally, the type of energy that's inside of you want to expand that outwardly. Only with the domain expansion, it's on an energetic level. So the shielding and the domain expansion, that is primarily your auric. Obviously, because that's the energy that you're expanding outwardly. And it doesn't really have a whole lot to do with your chakras, besides the fact that you're creating your outer domain based off of your inner domain. But for the purpose of this, we just want to focus on the auric. Next one I'm going to touch on is the emotion code. The emotion code is actually something that I do in my coaching, and I also do a lot with myself. It helps you to clear out blockages within the body. And there's a really good book which I learned from I believe it's Bradley Nelson, I think is the name of the author, but The Emotion Code is an incredible book, and it really goes into detail of how these emotions actually do literally get trapped in our bodies, and we have to release them, or else they're going to stay stuck in our bodies. If we don't consciously release them and we don't bring awareness to that, then we're just going to perpetuate whatever is inside of us, right? I mean, you can't change anything that you aren't aware of, generally speaking, unless life just throws you a curveball and throws you through the ringers and you're forced to change. The emotion code helps to clear out these emotions, these stagnant emotions, those spiraling pools of energy in your body. It helps to clear those out, and it's like it clears out the pathway within the chakras to allow that energy to flow. So this is primarily, I would say, to do with your chakras as well as your auric, but I would say your meridians as well. I didn't write it on there, but it's not directly working with your meridians, like hitting the meridian points. When these emotions get stuck in your body, it can get stuck in a multitude of places, and even like tiny places. And one of my teachers, Ashayana Dean, she talks about being able to communicate with parts of your body and to like actually speak with that part of your body, because you might have some kind of trapped emotion within that body, not only in this lifetime, but you might have like your past life trapped in your knee, like the underside of your knee, or it's like the body is a temple. The body is our temple to house our soul, and within that is a reflection and a manifestation of higher levels of energy which we download into our vessel. So once we understand that, we're able to tap into this energy and to raise awareness and to tap into our highest potential. Next one is shamanic and sound healing. So at the core, everything is vibration. And this primarily focuses on the chakra and the auric, because the sound is the vibrations that ripple through your body, and our bodies are like instruments. They're like tuned instruments. And once we attune ourselves to certain frequencies, we start to download thoughts and energy patterns and waves from other sources. That's where you might get certain downloads, because you are tapping into a higher level of energy. You're tapping into a higher level vibration, because everything is frequency and everything vibrates. Everything is constantly moving. Nothing is stagnant in this reality. Everything is alive. Even inanimate objects have a consciousness. They have cells that are constantly moving. I had an experience whenever I first started getting into healing and going to like festivals and things like that. I went to a yoga festival and I did a sound healing meditation, and it was one of the most transformative experiences of my life, because it really helped me to open up these trapped emotions that I had. I had some serious abandonment wounds from whenever I was young. My mom, I had two moms. I had a stepmom that raised me, and a birth mom. She grew up in a rough life. Her dad wasn't very good to her, and she had a lot of trauma that she carried with her, and as a result, that carried into our relationship. So when I was a kid, I got left at a football field when I was about 6. And at the time, cell phones weren't really a thing. So I couldn't call anybody. I didn't know what to do. And I was too far from home to walk. I was too far from really anybody to walk to. I mean, I could have walked, but it was like 8 o'clock at night. And I'm 6 years old. And even at 6 years old, I was aware enough to know that something could happen to me if I try walking and somebody just decides to pick me up. I mean, I don't have the strength to really defend myself at that point. I knew how to get back home because it wasn't too far from my house. It was maybe 2 miles, and it was out in the country, but it was dark and I was afraid, and I didn't know what to expect. So whenever I went into this sound healing meditation, it like opened me up, and I just started bawling. And this word abandonment popped into my mind, and I could see it. And at the time, I didn't really understand what it meant. Like, I had to remember getting left. I remember that I had that memory, but it didn't really sink in that I truly had that healing that hadn't been done yet. And so after that, I was able to truly start to dive into the fullness of my healing, my quantum healing. Next one I want to touch on is the elementals, which is working with air, earth, fire, and water. I've been really focusing on this actually because I've really been trying to move and transmute energy within my body, because I've been really trying to clear out blockages that I have, that I've had for a long time, that have been just something I haven't really dealt with, because there's constantly things that we have to heal and work through and focus on, and it's the healing process never ends, so we're never going to be fully healed, of course, but this is something for me that is going to help me to improve my relationship with myself, my relationship with my girlfriend, as well as just my overall well-being. It helps me to channel energy in my body, especially fire. Fire is my main medicine that I work with. And if you've been on this channel for a while, you'll see that I post a lot about fire, and I have clips, shorts about just fires, because I find them inspiring. I find them mesmerizing. Not only that, but they're portals to other dimensions. Fire is essentially a transportation device. Without fire, we wouldn't be able to have cars, because the combustion creates that fire, that explosion that allows us the pistons to move so that we can actually drive our car. And essentially it's like a transportation device, because we exponentially increase the amount of time that we can save by driving instead of walking. So I'll pull the energy in. That's what I've been doing, is like pulling the energy in with my left hand. And I feel that heat in my hand, and I like, my hand will start to shake, and I feel it. I start to move with it. I start to connect with that fire, and I pull it into my body. And I feel that heat moving up my arm into my chest, and then spreading throughout my entire body. And then I feel that within me, and I hold that energy. And then after holding it for a minute, then I clench my perineum, and I push that energy down into the earth. And I feel my roots go down into the earth. And then when I breathe back in, I pull the roots up, I pull that fire in, and I draw that energy into me. And I want to point out too, the direction in which we focus our breath has a huge impact. I've been focusing on breathing up my spine and then down the front of my body into my chakras, into my pelvic, and then out through my feet. So that's something that you can do. I also was standing in the rain, and I was just focusing on feeling, because water is all about emotions and feeling, and I've been struggling to express how I feel in certain ways, especially in my relationship with my girlfriend. I've noticed that I have blocks that I didn't even know that I had, and it really came up when I noticed that she asked me to say what am I feeling, and it was like I didn't even know how to respond. It was like my brain went completely blank. And at that moment, and it happened more than once, and then I realized this is a blockage that I didn't even know that I had. And so I've been breathing with the elements and focusing on the elements, and then I do that with air a lot too. I stand out on the earth, which gives me that earth grounding energy. I pull the roots up. I just focus breathing in the air that's blowing, the wind. Also, while I'm riding in a car, I like to hold my hand out, pull the energy in that way. Feel that in my body. And it sounds a little esoteric, but once you really focus on that, you can really drop in and feel that energy really strongly, and it starts to really help you to heal and to notice things that you didn't notice before. Because the elements are tied to different aspects of ourselves. So it's important for us to understand that we are of the earth. We come from the earth, and we are made of elements. The elements are the foundation of who we are. So by working with the elements, you're able to heal yourself, to work through these blockages, and to allow yourself to drop in. So by working with the elements, you're able to truly drop into your body, and to really feel that. To feel the elements moving through you. And the more that you do that, you start to not only feel more in your life, but you start to become more aware of your body and what you're feeling inside of your body and why. It really helps you to align and understand yourself so much better. The elemental energy focuses primarily on the auric and the chakras, but really it can be argued that it focuses on the meridians. If you breathe that energy in, that can really help you to move that energy that's stuck in your meridians as well. And the last one I want to touch on is Ionic Grounding, which I just briefly touched on when I was talking about connecting with the earth. And then Ionic Grounding, I would say this really touches on all of them. It was hard for me to say which ones because you're physically, your feet are planted on the earth, so it's going to stimulate your meridian responses within your feet. The chakras, because it moves that energy up, it starts to ground that energy into the earth, into your body. And then the auric, because it starts to really help you to heal and to rebalance yourself, the negative and positive ions within your body and the earth. It starts to balance those out. I like to think about our bodies like batteries, like we're charging ourselves up by grounding ourselves into the earth. I'm so grateful to be on this pilgrimage with you, my friends. This is Cody from the Codex signing off. I hope all of you have an amazing rest of your day and week. Keep on pushing yourself and challenging yourself to break through those blocks, to activate those fire codes within you so that you can live your best life possible. Peace, love, namaste, my friend.